this person said, I feel unhappy in my marriage and I don't even have a good reason why, other than that I miss the freedom of being on my own. Is that normal? What should I do?
Yeah, that's a good question. That's a good question. I just want to just take a moment, just to really appreciate that, because that's tough. Like wanting some of this freedom, missing that, and maybe even feeling stuck with that. Like we're feeling it. I wonder if we have some judgment around that, or maybe we feel isolated with that experience or lonely with that experience. I just want to take a moment just to say, just to appreciate that, kind of empathize with that as well. I think there are a couple things that need to be mentioned or worth investigating is one, like look at the marriage, look at the relationship kind of as a whole. It's like what has the marriage been like? Stepping into marriage, it's a journey, right? It's this experience that it continues. It's a lifelong. You're being a student the entire time, essentially. So I think of the marriage like what's like kind of holistically. When did we start noticing this? When did we start feeling like this? Is it like a last week? Is it before we got married? Just kind of whole bigger picture. When did we start noticing it? And also when we started noticing it, when we started feeling it, what do we kind of do because of it? Did we withdraw some? Did we kind of go into an alternate reality, so to say, because this reality just doesn't feel very good because we're not very happy. So thinking of the picture, the relationship as a whole, like getting the timeline of that, what did we first start noticing? What do we do with it? But you also bringing up a point of missing freedom, and there is some of that. If there is a grieving process, even at times in marriage, because a lot of relationships that we did have, they might not be the same anymore. For example, in college, I could hang out with 1 a.m., get done studying, right? And one of my buddies just wanted to hang out, just talk. I can't necessarily do that anymore. I have a daughter, but also a wife as well. I can't just skedaddle like that.
Okay.
So there can be this loss, there can be some grieving around what relationships we don't have anymore, or some of that freedom as well. So there is a lot of normalcy to that. Like there is a lot of changes, and that can be really, really hard.
Yeah. And I mean, speaking from my experience as well, I mean, I've been married for about 1.5 years, and I definitely can testify that this isn't not normal. I mean, there is a total, sacrifice that's a part of marriage where you're giving up, these pieces of yourself that you've always had, where you did have that ability to like go hang out with friends anytime, anywhere, anyone, and now you're more mindful, you're really living alongside this partner, this friend, this teammate. And it does sometimes feel like you're not your own person anymore.
Yeah, absolutely. Some of that autonomy is for sure gone. But even stepping back to that question, just going a little bit further, I'm kind of curious to like what that unhappiness feels like, what that unhappiness sounds like, what messages we kind of tell ourselves in the marriage, like what is it like being around your spouse, like what that experience is. Because if it's just like, hey, I just want to hang out with some of my boys tonight, versus like I'm just really sad right now. Like there's definitely a little bit of a difference there. So so what that unhappiness feels like, sounds like, is definitely worth some time to talk to someone or sit with that, to feel that. But I don't think that's not abnormal at all. And those are all experiences that we can go through.
Yeah. And I think it's important to point out too to this person that you're not failing. You're not failing at the marriage thing because you feel this way. I mean, it's totally valid feelings.
Absolutely. Marriage isn't Disney by any means. Marriage is not Disney, where we kind of happily ever after type of thing. Like we're two humans on this side of heaven where things are going to be tough at times.
Right.
And while we stay on this side of heaven, there will be challenges for sure. So it's not abnormal. It's not because you're failing. I do think it's worth connecting someone over, for sure.
Yeah, so good.